History may repeat itself, but these are the crimes we never want to see again. Here's what happened on this day in crime history. November 27th. We start with a gangster who even scared other gangsters. Babyface Nelson, real name Lester Gillis, wasn't just part of the Dillinger gang. He was infamous for his violent temper and murderous bank robberies. On November 27, 1934, near Barrington, Illinois, he got into a brutal gunfight with FBI agents. By the end of the shootout, Nelson was dead, and the FBI had taken down one of the most dangerous criminals of the era. One violent man falls. But on this same date, a future music icon was stepping into a very different kind of scandal. Before Frank Sinatra was a legend, he was a defendant. In New Jersey, a young Sinatra was arrested on a rare charge: seduction, having sex under a promise of marriage. But here's the twist. The case collapsed when it turned out the woman was already married. The seduction charge was dropped, he briefly faced adultery charges, and then he walked free. One man walks out of court, but in another November 27th story, an entire community wouldn't escape so easily. The Washita River Massacre. U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer led a surprise attack on a Cheyenne village along the Washita River in what is now Oklahoma. For years it was framed as a military victory, but today it's widely recognized as a massacre. Cheyenne leader Chief Black Kettle was killed, and so were many non-combatants, including women and children. Some were massacred for simply existing. Others were executed by their own government for who they loved. In London, 1975, Ross McWhirter, co-founder of the Guinness Book of Records, was shot dead by the IRA. Why him? He had offered a reward for information on IRA bombings, making himself a high-profile target. A man who dedicated his life to documenting world records became another entry in the record of political violence. But while bullets were ending some lives on November 27th, far earlier in history, a future lawman and gambler was just being born. On this same date, in 1853, Bat Masterson entered the world, a famous lawman and gambler of the Old West, who walked the thin line between keeping order and living on the edge. And remember, Babyface Nelson, the ruthless bank robber from the beginning of this story, also died on this day in 1934. From gangsters to music legends, from massacres to executions, November 27th is a date soaked in crime, power, and consequence. If you want more Today in Crime history stories like this, double tap, hit follow, and drop the words "more dates" in the comments, so I know you made it to the end.